Hello, welcome to the TubiTalk podcast. I am your host, Anthony.
And I'm your other host, Janice.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you are here in this podcast listening right now, you're here hopefully for the same reason that we are.
We like free movies.
That's right.
We also like bad movies.
That is also right.
And sometimes good ones, too.
Sometimes. What I like more than any of them is unique, strange, funny, for the wrong reason.
Movies that are good and then bad in the same moment, that's my favorite sort of movie.
Yes. And the reason that we chose Tubi is that it has the best of all of those things. It has treasures left undiscovered by most of the public. It also has some good movies.
For variety. And surprise.
For variety and surprise.
And I feel like it is important to mention that one of the two of us is at least on Tubi. And that is something to neither be proud of nor ashamed of. It just is what it is if you are an actor or filmmaker. And that is the democratizing of media, I suppose.
Right. I think that's...
And I think the other thing that we really need to say about Tubi is that, you know, this is also in a time where every movie is a Marvel movie, and we know exactly how each of those go beat by beat. But with a Tubi movie, you can never tell what's going to happen, how good or bad the actors are, or whether they finished doing sound and post, or if they actually wrote lines in the first place. So it's always a grab bag of fun with Tubi.
That's right. So we're going to come to you every other week with a new episode and a new movie that we have curated from the wide library that is Tubi. Now, if you want to send in a suggestion for a movie, you could drop it in the comments section on YouTube, or you could email the show at yourtubitime@gmail.com.
That's yourtubitime@gmail.com. yourtubitime@gmail.com.
That's right.
We're very lovely. You should write to us.
The film we chose today for our first episode is called Unborn, a film that has
Lesbians.
And
Pregnancy.
And
blood.
And demons.
Oh, yes.
So we'll just get into discussing it.
We probably should tell everyone why we chose this movie. Of all the treasures out there in Tubi world, why did we pick Unborn to spend 1 hour and 24 minutes of our collective lives on, and force this film upon you as well, gentle listener? Why?
Yes. So my primary choosing tactic when I peruse Tubi is whatever poster art calls to me. The title I find barely means anything. The description, the small description, the sentence or two, once you click on the title and you get into that separate screen, I find doesn't allude to much. Sometimes that what they describe sounds a lot like kookier and crazier than what actually happens in the film. So I often base it off of just the picture alone. Because that, to me, in my experience, leads a lot to be assumed about the film.
Well, it tells you about production value to begin with, but if they had led with lesbians, I probably would have clicked on it sooner rather than later. Just because, you know, lesbian domestic partnership stories, especially when one of the wives is black, doesn't happen a whole lot.
That is true.
And not only is the baby, we should mention that the other part about the synopsis, it had a very quick plot line, which is a pregnant lady accidentally thinks a pregnant lady on into her, which is a solid. No, how would you do it, Anthony?
I know.
It's a genre piece.
Yeah.
It's recognizable.
So in choosing this film, once we saw that the poster was just a pregnant woman's belly with a demon hand resting upon it, that was the indicator we needed that there might be some magic here.
And was there magic?
There was some magic, yeah. Maybe not as much magic as I might hope for, but there was probably one or two scenes that made it worth it, made our time worth it. And we'll get into those later. But right now we'll just get into the film itself in this non-spoiler section. So the film opens, woman's getting makeup done. She's doing her own makeup, looking in the mirror, and her mother comes and comments on how hot she looks. And that she has never seen her this hot before. Do you have something to say? Or
That's because she is a makeup artist. And so the mom, the woman asks her mom is it too hot? And her mom says, no, honey, it's classy hot. And then she falls over and dies. The lady who's wearing the makeup screams out, and a mostly black bridal party runs in to help her.
that last part's relevant.
It is. She married a black. I mean, everyone was black, man.
But it doesn't matter that much.
Well, no,
it doesn't have anything to do with the story.
I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, don't you think like one of the main characters is a black woman?
Well,
lesbian?
I don't think that's what happened. That's
They
who they
were
cast
all
for the
black.
role.
They were all
But why?
black.
It doesn't matter though. It doesn't like come up. They're not like, oh, you have no demon babies in my house.
That seems like a missed opportunity. That
Well,
was
that would have
no
been
gospel,
cliche.
Like,
okay, I like your description of it though.
That's fair.
So yeah, so her mother rolls over and dies.
Turns out it's her wedding.
Yes.
The other brother's wedding. The lady's wedding.
The makeup lady's
Makeup
wedding.
lady's wedding.
Yes. And when her mother rolls over and dies, she lets out this scream. I liken it to akin of like the screaming goats type scream. It sounded very much like that. I don't know if I could do it. Hold on. I do it.
It's just a very belly heavy scream. Like I imagine if you were being stabbed, that would be the sound you would make. It's a guttural scream.
Yeah, it was a guttural scream. Yes.
That went on for several seconds.
Yeah, it went on for a long time, and then it cuts to 2 years later. Presumably the baby's already inside her at this point, but she's on the toilet and she's having an issue. And by the way, the toilet roll in her bathroom is the oldest toilet paper I've seen in my life. It looked like papyrus. It's toilet paper made out of papyrus. Anyway, she's having birth complications, which leads to some of this drama in her world.
Well, we find out that she's trying to get pregnant, which is difficult considering she married a woman. But in this day and age, who can that stop? Only the people without a whole lot of money. So anyway, her wife is this beautiful black woman who is also a model. Mm-hmm. And she is the breadwinner of the family by modeling.
So then there's this strange like montage sequence. So they learn together, this woman from the wedding and the woman she presumably married on that day, living in the same house. They have a montage of telling their friends and family that they're pregnant together.
All in their house.
Yeah, everyone comes over to their house, brings food and whatever. But the strange part is like how it's shot like a comedy montage here. Like they do kind of like this quick turnaround camera, like where they're filming whoever they're saying, and then when they have someone else's reaction, you watch the camera and like the motion blur whip around to see them like give their witty remark back. And that kind of tone only exists in this scene, so I have to assume it's intentional.
Yeah, and the montage, and it happens over time, but like each set of friends that they're telling is pretty much identical to the previous set in terms of setup. So it's almost like that they were all asked for this one party
Yeah.
when really they say that, oh no, it's a different party.
Yes. Well, yeah, and then everyone was just, typically, stereotypically what you'd expect in a movie where, congratulations, you're pregnant, and they learn about the baby's sex at one point, and then they're telling their parents, the protagonist's wife's parents, about the baby, about what the sex of the baby is. But then there's the only thing that's out of place is this guy that they say, they tell him that they're pregnant, and he's like, so did you get it like done like artificially or like the old fashioned way? Did you get a guy in here to do it the old fashioned way? I don't know what there was. I assume that was a no. I wasn't paying attention.
I
don't think they
had very little reaction to
Yeah,
that.
I guess they didn't answer. They just kind of cut away.
I think it was a joke.
Yeah.
It was a comic beat.
Yeah, it was that part was a comic beat in that comedy montage. So then they get into the fact that there is
And the ultrasound.
next scene they have the ultrasound when they bring the photos of the ultrasound to the parents/parent-in-laws. They can see that there's a face that they claim is the face of this woman's
Looks exactly.
Yes, that looks exactly like the face of our protagonist's dead mother that died in the first scene. And hence, this is where we get into a world of misfortunes and drama and
cults
and
demons,
kooky stuff happening.
psychics,
Yeah, nosebleeds,
violence,
and death. So I mean, I think that's all we could say for like non-spoilers. If there's a happy ending,
yeah, there's a happy end, and sure. I mean,
that's kind of
you know what I would say that like that is not what you expect from a horror movie.
Yeah.
So in that way, that's not spoilery. And apart from that, for a horror movie, it really made pregnancy, which is truly a torturous real life horror, like it's made it seem really bland and not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's a missed opportunity, or if it's but I'm just saying that I expected it to be more horrific.
Yeah. Not really a lot of horror elements in it. I suppose there was a couple of deaths. Two of them involved blood. Yeah. But otherwise, a thing about this film that was hard to understand all the way up until the end is the rules for this. Like, it's not a spoiler to say because it's in the description that there is a demon or a devil or some sort of supernatural element involved in this. And you could kind of tell from things that happen early on of how how their doctor ends up behaving, that there is some sort of maybe possession that's going on, but it never is clear as to what the rules are. There's scenes where it's just anyone who seems to interact with our protagonist closely,
breathe the
kind
same
of
air.
Gets the demon inside their body,
tries to look at the baby, asks about the baby.
Yeah, like anyone nearby. So the example of that is there's a scene where she, after telling everyone's super happy about their pregnancy, she goes to get a coffee. Then there's a guy, a not scary, creepy dude, at the coffee stand.
Well, lesbians might not like him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I assume a lot of women probably don't like him. Like, he wasn't he had a creepy vibe, but not a scary vibe. And by that I mean, like, he was watching her, looking at her, kind of imposing on her, but his voice was so like soft and soft pitched that it didn't come off like scary.
No.
Like he was like, "Hey, what you doing with that baby?" He wasn't like that. He wasn't like flamboyant. You know what I mean? But I can't do his voice with my voice. But he just had a soft tone about him.
Well, and it gets to the point where he gets angry and he crushes a drink, and that drink was an ice drink in the first place. So it's not even like it's any kind of like palpable danger.
He gets and so that's our first encounter with the potential of this demon, specter, supernatural element. Is with the you assume it has something to do with this guy.
And his eyes change.
Yeah, his eyes change, and then he tells her very aggressively to put on a jacket, and she refuses. And then he kind of snaps out of it, and then goes back to what he was doing and checks and sees if she's okay.
Her nose bleeds.
Yeah, and then her nose bleeds. And so, that's like the baby. So in that scene, he becomes evil. You see his eyes glaze over, and then he kind of is aggressive and weird, and then everything kind of goes back to normal instantly. But later on, their eyes glaze over. Like people's eyes will glaze over because I guess of interaction or getting possessed by this demon devil baby.
And then they will just snap back for no apparent reason and snap back and fall.
Yeah, and then Then later in the movie, other people that interact with our protagonists, they do that. They snap back, and like they just instantly. It seems like with no cause, no effect of anything. As the catalyst for this happening, they just will be possessed one moment, then not possessed the next moment, then possessed again, then not possessed again, and so it's hard to get involved in like the tension or the stakes of the film because those rules are never really established or clear up until the very, very end, pretty much.
Even then, I would say they're not very clear. Now, I would say that the other, I guess I'm gonna go with missed opportunities here. The protagonist isn't very likable.
Mm-hmm.
She has very little bit, she doesn't have very much of a relationship with her mom. That's not delved into pretty much at all. And yeah, but there were some but there were like some interesting plot elements about the story, like a documentary going into her past somewhat, right?
Oh yeah,
her family's past. But before we move on to spoiler things, we should probably, in case people stop watching it here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We should give them some kind of indication about whether or not it's something to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, you know what we can use? So there is this thing that her, when her nose bleeds, right? She goes to see her gynecologist, and her gynecologist says to her that pregnancy, a symptom of pregnancy is nose bleeding. Now, I've been pregnant 3 times, and we're gonna consult the internet here to see if that's in any way, shape, or form true. So you can walk away with some useful information.
So more on the protagonist just being unlikable. She, from the moment we meet her, so in that scene where her mother comes over and says she looks hot, and she's like, not too hot though, right? Since then and throughout, pretty much up until the very, very end of the movie, she's just very just complains about everything, is nasty about everything, is standoffish to anyone who wants to talk to her, including her own wife. And she's just constantly instigating arguments, and it makes sense later, and I've seen it in other horror films where they are devolving psychologically because they have this evil inside of them that makes them be nastier. But from the get-go, years before she's even pregnant, she has this problem. She's just nasty to people around her, and so you don't I didn't like her at all.
She had very few interactions with anyone.
Yeah.
When we first meet her, she's putting on her makeup, and then later on she's being sort of sad and languid.
Yeah.
where we see her 2 years later, which is understandable considering she's trying to get pregnant. But even then, like, there wasn't. And okay, so the verdict is in. It is common. Nosebleeds are fairly common during pregnancy. One study showed that nosebleeds may happen in up to 1 in 5 pregnancies. Only 6% of women experience nosebleeds when they aren't pregnant. So the more you know.
Wow. So I guess
Yeah.
in the words of Dr. Fern, nosebleeds are a common symptom of pregnancy.
Let's talk a moment about like going to a doctor whose name is Dr. Fern. What do you feel about that name as a medical provider?
Feels very, his first name would be like River.
River Fern.
Oh,
right. That makes
like
sense.
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
Or charcuterie or whatever.
Charcuterie Fern.
Yeah. Another thing with the protagonist is her dilemma. The thing that helps to build tension, I suppose, is her arguing with her wife often, and her wife is really cool. She's like supportive, is like kind of putting up with her unpleasantness, and her wife like also is good at does a good job like drawing boundaries. When she gets to a certain point of argument where she's just saying nonsense, that her wife gets up and says, I'm not gonna deal with this, and we're gonna do this once everything's settled out. But in one of our arguments, our protagonist, her name's Rachel, by the way.
Oh, that's her name, right?
Says, this is just after the interaction with the not scary, creepy guy. She says, everybody's treating me like I don't know how to take care of myself. And we're like, when? We just watched a montage of people coming over just saying congratulations for the baby. Then you go out, and then this guy is kind of weird to you. And then this is like your conclusion from all of this is like she's only like 3 weeks pregnant at this point or something, right? 3 weeks pregnant?
3 months, 13 weeks.
Okay, 13 weeks pregnant. And her wife makes like a supportive comment about, don't worry how people look at you, don't worry how people judge you. The only thing matters is us. But we didn't see anything with people judging her or being different towards her, or like I could see if it's like you're a lesbian couple and you're out and about in the streets and you're holding hands and you're pregnant, people are gonna have their stigmas, they're gonna have like their judgments, they're gonna kids might run up into you and say like, how did two mommies get pregnant or whatever. But we didn't see any of that. Like it was just as resounding support from their family and friends, and then a weird guy at the coffee shop, and she's like, everyone's judging me.
And then her wife also says to her like, oh no, don't tell me you're going to shut down the same way you did when your mom died.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which we didn't actually see.
Yeah, which we had no context for. Like we just got to take their word for it.
I mean, why would they lie?
But I guess, and then in addition to all this stuff, none of that really mattered anyway. It didn't really come into play as far as like the plot goes. It's, her wife is no less supportive at the end of the film than she is at the beginning. Yeah, like she's just ride or die the whole time. And what else happened? Oh yes, and then her mother comes to her. Rachel's mother comes to her in a dream after they see her face in the sonogram, and she just goes, "Don't let it take the baby." And you're led to believe, it's revealed later what she meant, kind of like literally later on. Rachel, the protagonist, almost looks in the camera and says, "Oh, that's what my mother meant when she came to my dream and said, don't let her take the baby." But what you think at the time is that it's going to be Rachel's wife.
Yeah. Her
ride or die wife, that's going to take the baby. And then like, this is going to like psychologically, drive Rachel mad because wants to protect this. She's so attached to this thing that's growing inside of her. And now she's going to have just like a really intimate, like hard, life or death fight, struggle with her own wife in their own house because she thinks it's gonna take it, but
that never
nothing. Yeah,
materializes
nothing
into
happens. Yeah, you just like I don't know what she thought in the movie when she said that she's gonna don't let her take the baby, but what we thought is that it was gonna be her wife taking the baby, and then it goes nowhere.
But on Reddit, someone called it a woke shitty movie, like everyone expected. So,
We're not.
like, anyway, I'm just looking at. Yeah, didn't need to watch it. It's woke, so I already know it's bad.
Is it woke? I guess it's got.
I mean, it's got lesbians and like black women, right?
I mean, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and I also want to talk about. The camera angle during the doctor scene. So there's Dr. Fern. They have the first scene with them getting their sonogram. Then they return and have another scene with them where there's things sort of develop. The stakes are heightened, so to speak. But during the scene, they did something that we've never seen in a movie before.
They broke the rules.
So you want to talk about it because you know more about camera stuff.
Yeah, so they broke the rule. The rule in that, so in most scenes, like the rule is that if one character is on one side of the screen in a back and forth, then the other character will be on the other side of the screen.
Yes, in like a dialogue exchange.
Yeah, so that you can like see their eye lines, like sort of like looking at each other. Now, this is the first movie that I've ever seen, so in this way, it's a magical, wonderful, revolutionary movie because they put the two of them in the same corner of the screen.
Yes, so if you think about it, like when you watch any reasonable film or TV show or what have you,
any film before this film.
Yeah, when you have a dialogue where it's two characters talking, you'll have one like on the right side of the screen looking to the left and talking, delivering their lines, and then you'll have the reverse shot of the person on the left talking to the person that's now on their right, and so they're on the left side of the screen looking to the right, talking to that person, and then it'll usually have an establishing shot outside where you could see both characters looking in the corresponding directions. This film was the first time that we've seen that she's on the right side of the screen.
And then the next shot.
And then in the next shot, he's also on the right side of the screen. Which, that's a little bit, that's like a taste of the magic that we're looking for. It's a small one. It's not worth going to watch the film for, but it's unprecedented.
Yeah. No, it's a new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you interviewed them, they'd say that they're, having a new take on things, and it talks about the frame of mind of the character or something.
We'll talk about a couple more points, then give our recommendations and go into spoilers. So another camera, I guess a technical thing, is just the amount of lens flares. In that doctor scene, the same one with the that we just talked about, with the shots being on the same side of the screen, they had just an absurd amount. Like there was one angle where you just can't see the character Rachel's face because the lens flare that seems to be coming out of nowhere. I suppose it's supposed to be the hospital lights, but it just appears to be materializing out of the top corner of the screen. It's just completely shielding her face. And there's a lot of, I don't know if there's something that the lens flare is supposed to be saying, or if it just makes it look higher production quality.
My read on it is that is a style of maternity photography that is called light and airy. In a previous life, I was a maternity photographer. And so I think that's also part of it. But speaking about the lighting in this movie, I've never seen a horror movie lit so high key, which just means that it's pretty bright and well exposed in general. So that's kind of an interesting choice for a horror movie.
Yes, yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah.
But it's well lit for a Tubi movie. I've seen a lot of crap on Tubi, that's barely exposed at all, and this one was, nope, you could see every bit of the lens flare.
And there's one final thing that we could talk about that.
The music was kind of bizarre, right?
Oh yeah, why don't you talk about that? I honestly, it's hard for me to notice music unless it's like something exceptional. But I remember just in the like the montage, the comedy style like montage sequence, there being kind of like a bouncy, plucky kind of rhythmic. But I don't recall there being like anything to like build tension.
I mean,
nothing like notable.
I mean, it kind of felt like the music was taken right off Production Crate or any of the other low cost music things. Ooh, but something that we do need to talk about is we need to talk about how this film is shot like a bunch of different genres. So Anthony talked about how it was a comedy and the montage congratulations scene, and later on these two detectives show up, and each of those scenes, it's like we've combined several TV shows together, and that's what we have.
Yes, yeah. So the scenes between Rachel and her wife, because it pretty much formulaically speaking, it goes Rachel and her wife argue, then Rachel goes out and about, whether to a doctor's office or elsewhere, has something weird happen, and then goes back and argues with her wife again. That's about the first 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, they do it 3 times.
Yeah. And then and then something happens in that first 30 minutes where now there's like these detectives involved. And the detective scene is like, I guess there's 3 detective scenes, and they all have such a different tone. I mean, they are like, if you were watching like Law and Order or CSI, they would be like perfectly in that tone. You wouldn't skip a beat. But in the context of what's been happening in this movie thus far, it just feels totally out of left field, and it just like my hand is literally like pointing at the screen, like, where is this coming from? Like, why is this happening?
And I think the funniest thing about it is it's shot exactly like a police procedural.
Yes.
Even though it's still in this horror movie about a pregnant woman, it's still shot exactly like
I know people thought that movie Malignant was a disaster. And they had their own like combination of dramatic scenes and like horror elements, along with throwing in the ongoing police investigation. I think there was a better tonal matching for what was going on in each of those. But they went from, I think the problem was that they didn't know the Unborn directors or editors didn't know how to create that horror tension where the stakes are rising and you're kind of in your seat, clamping your fists a little bit, like getting ready, cringing at the horror that's going to be coming soon. There wasn't any of that. And then I think when there was just that serious, it was more of like a drama, I suppose, between this woman and her wife, and then there happened to be this like horror element to it. But then you get to the scenes with the detectives talking, and it was tonally more dramatic, more toned down as far as whatever color and energy, and so it matched that kind of, like you said, that procedural cop tone.
I really liked those detectives. I would have watched them the whole thing. I mean, they had an Asian detective and a black detective. I've not seen that before in procedurals. And they had a good rapport, and I mean, I'm glad that we cut away to like a commercial break with a different TV show altogether in the middle of that film.
Yeah, that's what it was like. It was giving you like a preview for next week's episode of NCIS in the middle of watching this movie. So that was just a strange choice.
Yeah, but I liked it. I'm glad it happened. Well, and I mean, and they did some things quite well. So not only did they have like the NCIS moment, the sitcom Modern Family moments, but they also had the primetime true life sort of documentary thing that explores the history of our protagonist, right? And the protagonist's mom's family, and turns out that she was in a cult, and that was a very well shot documentary part. So there were parts of it that were pulled off very well, I think.
Yeah, I think that documentary was pulled off like
That
something
was
that
the
you'd
best.
say on like
I would,
PBS
I would
or
watch it.
C-SPAN or what have you. Like,
Yeah, I'd watch things like that.
Like, they haven't had clean drinking water here in over 20 years, and
Hey.
they show like just pictures of families, and then they go to an interview with one guy.
Yeah.
That all matched, and in universe, that's how she kind of that's how Rachel learns about what's going on with her, or what could possibly be, get her out of this jam.
So I mean, that part of the pacing, there were things that it accomplished in 1 hour and 24 minutes.
Yes. Because this is a new show, we're gonna try a new type of rating system. So everyone has a thumbs up or thumbs down, 5 stars, 10 stars. How many out of the 5? How many out of the 10?
How many produce things you want? Well done produce, badly done produce.
Oh yeah.
Tomatoes.
As far as tomatoes, yeah. But we're gonna try on here to do our own rating system, where we're just gonna pose the question: is this too good for Tubi? What do you think?
Is this too good for Tubi? I think it's just right for Tubi. If everything was so competently done on Tubi and surprising in the right manner, and they had some relationships. I mean, what my favorite thing about the reason why this is just good enough for Tubi, and may even be good on soft Netflix, because it's got the racial diversity and lifestyle diversity too, is that when the wife is being railed on by the protagonist, she actually goes, "Oh wow," and just walks away. And I just think that's a real true to life. We've all been there before, and she doesn't say anything mean, which is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Anthony, is it too good for Tubi for you?
I'd have to agree that it's just right. I think I would say that it's just overall not a good film if it weren't for some of the stuff that we're gonna get into in the spoilers. There's the ending scene and kind of how it ends is kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then also there's a scene in the middle which I just like, where it's kind of an exposition dump, but I love how it played out. And I love I got enough laughs out of this where it's not a good film by any means, but I was entertained enough by it and laughed enough in it, which to me is exactly what a lot of Tubi is for that kind of enjoyment. So it would not good for theaters, not good. This is kind of like a $2, $5 bargain bin movie. If before streaming platforms were a thing, this is the level of movie that it is and that it deserves to be.
Oh yes, it's back in the day where they would have movie nights and they'd have a made-for-TV movie. This would pretty much be it. But I would say that an important distinction to make, right, is that the fact that surprising things can happen out there in the wild world of Tubi is why we watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly think that if we had more command of the English language, that listening to us could would be more entertaining than watching the film. So, but you can still,
but you can still learn English from us because we speak English real good.
Nah, you know what I mean. Command of the language, but yeah, I think if you're an average movie goer, movie enjoyer, and you're looking for a sincerely good film, this is not it.
But I've definitely seen worse in theaters.
Yes, I've definitely seen worse movies with, for sure, higher budgets. But if you're kind of someone who likes The Fringe, likes likes to find like little things in bad movies that are enjoyable, like us, then I think you give it a watch.
Yes.
All right, now we will go to spoilers.
Transition.
And if you're here, you are ready for spoilers of Unborn, a Tubi original movie. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the we'll just do them in order. Spoilers in order. Dr. Fern stabs himself.
Yeah, let's just get it all out.
Yeah. He stabs himself, and then this is how the detectives come in. So he's listening. This is also where the rules start to get confused. So the guy at the coffee stand was being a weirdo presumably because there's just demon baby air near him.
No, he listens to the heartbeat. The guy in the coffee shop, he listens to the heartbeat.
I know what you mean, but that's when he got super weird. But when she walked up, he already wanted to guess the sex.
Yeah.
And listen to the heartbeat. Like, she walked up to get her coffee. He was standing there, and as soon as she walks up, he, like, fixates on her. And he's, like, standing, like, 3 feet from her, and then says, "Can I guess the sex of the baby?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay." And then he goes...
It's a girl.
And she's like, "No, it's not." But in the doctor scene where he kills himself, he's like has the stethoscope
yes,
on and is listening to the heartbeat, and he's like, "Yeah, sounds good." And then all of a sudden his eyes glaze over, and then he says something about whatever, "Long live the Lilith," and all hail the mother, whatever. And then stabs himself in the neck with his pen, which I think that the pen was CGI. I'm pretty sure, because he was stabbing himself in the neck and there was blood just like constantly pouring out of his neck. But I'm pretty sure that in order to like make the pen look like it was stabbing, that it was a CGI pen, like he was just punching himself in the neck with his hand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there was a little CGI pen that would then disappear. Like when, you know what I mean? Like it was only CGI, like it was like his hand stayed in the same spot and the pen stayed in the same spot, and then the only reason it looked like the pen was going in
the blood
was because his hand would cover where the pen would be animated at. So then the detectives come because the doctor
I think it's worth talking about that for a second, just because they made it a very quick scene.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of blood.
Oh yeah.
So that was helpful.
They had a lot of blood, yeah. And then the nurses rush in and they're like, "Oh, what happened here?" And then cut to Rachel. She's the only witness apparently. Talking to detectives who are like, "Really? The doctor just stabbed himself? I don't think he would do that."
He was a happy dude.
Yeah, everyone said he was happy. Why would he kill himself? And she said he was like part of the scene. She goes, "I don't know, like he was listening to the heartbeat, then he started scribbling on his notepad, and he was like a robot. Then he just started stabbing himself." And they were like, "Like a robot?" And she goes, "Yeah, I know he's not an actual robot. He was just acting like one." And then, but the whole time I'm like, what is this? What do these detectives have to do with this devil baby? What do they? And they never end up having anything to do with it. I think just whoever wrote it was like, well, if a doctor kills himself, people are gonna start asking questions, and then he figured out a way to kind of fold them into the plot, but there was really no purpose otherwise.
I mean, they go later on. That's another spoiler, right?
Well, we're in spoilers.
Yeah, there's a lot that happens. There's actually a lot that happens in this movie.
But yeah,
like a whole lot happens.
We come back around.
Yeah, a whole lot happens.
We'll come back around. Rachel's release from talking to the detectives. She's in the car. Her wife's driving her home because her wife was there to go into the hospital room with her before Dr. Fern stabbed himself. And she's like, "Yeah, sorry, I wasn't there. I just had a work thing going on." And Rachel's like, "I just want to go home." And then they get home, and her wife is like, Rachel's like, "Oh my god, that was so horrible. I don't want to be there. He stabbed himself." And her wife is like, "Yo, chill. You're still on about that doctor stabbing himself thing?" Like, it literally happened today. Like, it happened at lunch. It's now dinner. And she's like, "You're still on about that doctor stabbing himself? Fuck, man.
You're still on about it.
Chill out." I just thought that was funny. And then, yeah, this is around the time, like, shortly after is when Rachel learns that that it's possible that her baby might be a demon summoned by a death cult. Because of the thing that the doctor said, he said, long live Lilith, long live the All-Mother, whatever.
All hail the
mother.
Yeah.
And so she Googles that and ends up on a documentary. She kind of pockets that knowledge for later. But then the next scene, or not the next scene, but the next important thing, Rachel goes to see a psychic.
Oh, yeah.
And what happens?
When she goes to see the psychic, to begin with, the psychic is very committed to telling her that she's the real deal.
Yes, yeah, that happened. The psychic says it like at least 5 times.
Yeah, that's how you know she's a real deal psychic. Like, whenever someone introduces themselves as a real deal, I take their word for it.
She says, quote, I'm the real deal.
That's why I take my money first.
Yeah, that's why and she's this is like a strip mall, like palm reading thing.
And she has she has a European accent.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say Russian, but I don't know.
I mean, it's Eastern,
or like
blockish.
Estonian, Moldovan.
Yeah.
And she says stuff about the baby, and Rachel goes, "Well, how do you know that?" And she says, "I'm the real deal."
Yeah. Well, yeah. It starts with because Rachel is in there, to find out what's up with this baby, what's going on with it, and yeah, then the psychic starts telling her what's already happening that Rachel does know. So she's like, "Okay, well, you're pregnant, you got a baby, it's a girl, you named it Sarah because it's after your mother whose name's Sarah." And the whole time Rachel's going, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, dude, you came into the psychic. It's not just a woman on the street, like an old woman working at a restaurant. It says psychic on the door. You walked in. She said, "I'm the real deal" twice, and you gave her money. What do you mean? How do you know that? And then the psychic tells us everything. The scene is awesome.
That was very helpful.
Like it. Maybe one might enjoy it more if it were more visually shown what's going on. Of like, a demon ghost possessing the psychic's body or things flying around the room. But
that's more expensive.
None of that. Yeah, it's just Rachel and this old Eastern Bloc woman holding hands, and then she's like, so the psychic says, "Yeah, no, your baby's in there, but there's another soul in there too," and Rachel's like, "Oh." The psychic's like, "So if you want, I could ask the other soul to leave. Is that what you want?" And she's like, "Yeah, please." And she's like, "All right, give me a sec, I'll be right back." They're still holding hands. She looks in the sky and she's like, that it ain't gonna happen. The soul ain't happy. And then she starts shaking, not like the table or things around her. The psychic woman starts shaking and clenching her hands really tight, and then dies.
Yes.
Because of the demon possessions.
Well, so I'm led to believe that the demon possession led the psychic to crush their fingers. Right?
Yes.
because it wasn't Rachel who was doing it.
Yeah, well, and later on the detectives say every bone in her hand was broken. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think it was the demon like crumpling her own like little body
from the inside.
Yeah.
That was actually a missed opportunity to be a lot more gory. I think. Yeah, that was actually a missed opportunity to be a lot more gory because we hear this information, but it's not as great as like watching like an old lady's hands be crushed and deformed.
Yes.
Which I mean, I don't enjoy watching, but yeah, if I'm watching it, like I think this is how, in some ways, this wasn't that much of a horror movie because there really wasn't that shock factor at all in the movie.
No, yeah, there was the doctor stabbing himself, and then the guy at the end that we'll talk about in a minute here. But other than that, yeah, there's not a lot of. If you like body horror, this is not gonna do it.
Though pregnancy is terrifying.
Ooh, 18 years of responsibility. And then so the psychic dies, and then Rachel goes home to her ever supportive wife, and she's like crying in bed, and she's like, fuck, what am I gonna do about this? I got a demon baby in me. I know for sure now that I have a demon baby. And then she's telling her wife about it, like, yo, I went to see a psychic and she told me I got a demon baby. And her wife's like, fuck, man, can't believe we got a demon baby. She's like, all right, what do we do about it? And she's like, do we call an exorcist? And she's like, no, it's a demon baby. Like, it was put there by demon people. Which I guess we should backtrack. That's what we learn about is that that there was a death cult. That all this leads back to this death cult, and it was a death cult, a demonic death cult.
Yeah, and there was one
where
survivor.
where everyone killed themselves except one guy who claims that he just he survived. He didn't cut his throat right, and so then he went back to the ranch where everyone killed themselves and bought it and turned it to a museum and that kind of thing. So we have so now we know there's a demon baby, and it was presumably that it's linked to this death cult somehow.
And the advice of the psychic was that she should cut it out. Mm-hmm. And so the wife asks her, like, what should we do about it? And she says, oh, we have to cut it out. And the wife just goes, we're not doing that. Next.
Well, yeah, you're missing how the wife said it. Because her wife was she was just like mildly annoyed at the proposition. Like, she was like, what are we gonna do? Should we get an exorcist? And Rachel's like, no, that won't work. And she's like, well, then what are we supposed to do? And she's like, she said we have to cut it out. And she's like, come on, Rachel,
we're not doing
we're
that.
not cutting the baby out of your stomach. Get real. Like, I just like her tone on that.
I really like that actress.
Yeah,
she's great.
She's like, Rachel,
we're not doing that.
Stop being silly. What do you really want to do about the baby? So that was just pretty much that whole section is why I like the film, and then the end was fun too.
Yeah, it's fun.
But like, pretty much the beginning is just like annoying and weird. Then that section, that's maybe like 5 to 10 minutes between the psychic and then the detectives talking about.
Yeah, that's fun.
You're never gonna believe this, Rachel, and they're like, well, yeah, we talked to her and we already figured everything out with the doctor. He stabbed himself, right? And he's like, well, guess what? There was a woman who died in a psychic shot, and Rachel was on the security cameras.
I think you have to back it up to when Rachel is telling her wife about this, and her wife is like, we gotta call the cops.
Oh yeah.
And Rachel's like, no. And her wife's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, she's ride or die. That's what I said in the non-spoilers. Like, yeah, her wife is ride or die. She, for all she knows, I mean, her wife just believes her that this woman died.
Which is what you should do for a pregnant lady. if you're in a similar situation.
Yeah. She just believes that this psychic woman died. For all she knows, Rachel murdered her, and is like, "Don't call the cops and make it weird." And so yeah, so then, yeah, and the detectives just lead to more. I guess they kind of they really have no consequence whatsoever.
A lot happens in this movie.
Yeah, well, the detectives have no like effect on any of it. Like they're just kind of there to like make it seem realistic, I suppose, seem like it's in the real world that someone's looking into deaths and murders and that kind of thing. But like, both detectives die. They have they don't push the plot in any particular direction.
No.
It gives you hope for 1 second that something like the tables might be turned, but then it goes nowhere. So we're just gonna cut to the end. So the guy who survived the death cult actually is still part of it, and he's waiting for the prophecy, I suppose, to come true of their leader, who is Rachel's grandmother, to be reborn, and that's what the other soul is inside her belly.
Yeah,
is the soul of her grandmother, who is supposedly like an eternal creature that's existed since the beginning of time, that is the wife of the devil.
Yeah. And the other part of it is, it turns out that when her mother left the commune, because I mean, in the film they say that the mom had an abusive family, and so she left. It turns out that Lilith was supposed to be born into Rachel, but since she wasn't around, that couldn't happen. Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's true because she was still alive. How is she gonna be reborn if she's still alive? Or I don't know. I guess I don't. I guess it's unclear when she had.
I think she was pregnant. I guess
she was pregnant and she left.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's what they were saying.
Yeah, but why would that stop her?
No, because she was supposed to be she was supposed to be reborn into the baby. So when she killed herself, she was supposed to be reborn. I think.
But what would stop the demon? See, this is what's unclear.
Yeah.
Is about the rules of the demon, because it's not clear why she couldn't have done that. Because Rachel's mother was the daughter of the cult leader.
Yes.
And so the whole point was that Rachel is now going to have the baby, and the cult leader is dead, so she's going to be reborn into
as Rachel. I figured that was what they were saying.
Well, you're confusing it. Because you were saying, because I'm just setting up the way it is.
Oh, okay.
The way you thought it ought to be was that she could have been born into Rachel's body.
Because I mean, like at the end they said that like the cult leader killed herself anyway, right?
Yes.
So why would she do that?
If she weren't going to be born
into whatever.
Well, they didn't say one way or the other. They didn't explicitly say that.
That's true.
Well, you're going to be the demon baby was going to be in your mother, and it was going to be you.
Yeah.
But then this happened. They did say that her mother ran away from the death cult, and you could assume that it was because she wanted to protect her baby and not have it be a demon baby. But
those are assumptions.
But we know from watching the film that you don't have to be part of the death cult to have your baby be a demon baby.
That's true.
You just have to have someone, I guess you just have to have the baby essence floating around when you get pregnant, I guess. I don't know what determines. We don't know how the baby got in there. We just know that it's going to be a demon now. Maybe
you can consult a professional and ask like a real life psychic to watch this film and let us know what she thinks about it.
We could do that. Okay, we're getting to the end. That's where we got stopped. So what happened? So
haunted uterus. You never talked about the haunted uterus. Did you?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, her wife just called her uterus haunted. Yeah, and I can't get into all this, but
Well, then no.
it's already running
Let's
long.
go. Let's
Okay. Yeah, we're just about there. So it ends. So the way it ends is, just gonna catch you up real quick. Is that turns out the guy in the death cult didn't end up leaving the death cult. Like, he faked his own throat cutting so that he could live to see another day, so that he could help to bring the wife of the devil, who's the cult leader, back through the baby that will eventually be born, but he doesn't know to who.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty safe to say, all that stuff, right? So Rachel shows up because she's like, well, this cult leader guy's got to know how to get this devil baby out of me. And then he shows up and he's like, oh, just like I planned it. You came right into my spider web.
Yes, because up until that point, the wife had her committed into a mental health institution, and the doctor there was trying to kidnap her. And when her wife saw this, she killed him by car.
Oh yeah, which was another great scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just to backtrack a little.
I do like how she was so decisive.
Yeah.
She was really decisive.
Yeah, just to backtrack a little. Yeah, so like she said, like Janice said, yeah, Rachel's in the like psychiatric ward because she's committed, and then the doctor. This is more detectives show up. We're not gonna get into all this stuff, but this is more of like the devil not having particular rules, or the demon baby not having particular rules, because he's possessed. The doctor is at the psychiatric ward, but then he like later isn't, and he like spreads his possession through
to the black detective,
to the detective guy. But anyway, so the doctor gets Rachel, and he's like, we're going, and he's taking her to his car, which is in like a parking garage, and Rachel's wife sees this and is like, oh my god, and is chasing after Rachel, and Rachel is getting put into like an SUV by the doctor, and he closes the door, and he goes like, he's like, you do anything, I'll kill your wife. And she's like, oh my god, I won't do anything. And then so he goes around to the back window, like to the trunk, and you think he's gonna pull out a gun or
no, he's just
something,
hanging
but he just stands there. And before this, Rachel's wife, I think her name's Amber,
yes,
runs in and is like, he doesn't say stop, doesn't like try to run up and stop Rachel or anything. She just runs straight for her car, which isn't far away. It's a parking garage, so you can see like the two cars like next to each other. So I'm like, why is she running for her car, like not trying to help at all? Like, she's just gonna chase him down. And so when the doctor goes around to the back of his car, Amber just like immediately pedal to the metal, just runs, dead ass runs him over, and he just fought. Like, it's not like one of those, it's not like a Hollywood getting hit by a car where he rolls off the windshield and like flops out the back. He just is like flat.
He just takes it.
Just gets flattened. Yeah. Anyway, so he was gonna bring her to the death cult guy who faked his suicide so that he could help to give birth to the demon baby, who is the leader of the cult.
Yes.
And so.
Yes.
So then the demon's possessing Rachel's wife and like doing the demon's bidding, which is just, kind of chores around the it's just chores around the commune is really all it is. And then the guy, like, then she's ready to give birth, so they put her in a barn, and they're gonna give birth, and her wife is there. And then the demon possesses Rachel's wife and is talking to her, and Rachel eventually, because the detective was there, I'm not gonna get into all the shit. If you want to see all the shit, watch the movie, but but Rachel has a gun, and she's pointing it at her own stomach. Pointing it at the baby in her stomach, talking to the demon who is going to be the baby.
Yes.
But is now in her wife.
Yes.
And says, like, don't fucking move,
Yeah.
or I'll blow this baby's head off. And her wife's like, and then the demon's like, what do you want? And she's like, well, I learned, because this guy told me, your cult leader, your cult follower guy, that you're going to try to kill my wife because someone has to die so that you could come back.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yes. And she's like, what if we just kill this guy and then I could have my wife and then we could raise you
and we'll
together.
Be good. We'll be
and
really good moms.
Yeah. And she says, and I'll be the best mom you could ever ask for. And the demon's like, this is acceptable. And then the demon stops possessing her wife, but before she stops possessing Amber, she goes, tell her to run, because if she's still here, by the time your contractions are done, I'm gonna kill her. And we're like, why? I thought you just made an agreement. But
she's bad.
Yeah, she's a demon.
She needs the love of a mother to save her soul.
Yeah, and so the guy's
like, wait,
wait, I didn't not cut my throat.
Yeah, I didn't.
30 years ago, so that you could cut my throat now.
This.
Yeah.
And then she goes, well, and the guy's just, oh yes, I forgot that I love you, Mom. So sure, do it.
She's like, don't worry, you're gonna go to hell and have a place next to Satan, just like you always wanted.
He will
You'll be a prince. All your brothers and sisters who killed themselves are gonna be there, and they're gonna welcome you with open arms. It's gonna be okay. And he's like, oh, you're right. I love you, Ma. And then he cuts his throat. And then she has the baby by herself. By the way, her wife, who was told she had to leave and not come back, otherwise she would get possessed or demonified or killed or something. Her wife gets in a car and drives away, just literally off the property boundary of this commune, and then waits for the screaming of childbirth to stop, and then drives back. And I guess there's no consequence.
No. But they did wait until, like, they showed a change from night to day or whatever, right? Did they not?
No.
Yeah.
Because what she's thinking of is that she
drove
right back, and we don't see how they like reunited. But then it says, then the next scene after that is it fades to black, and then it opens again 5 months later, and she's holding a giant ass baby.
Yeah. It's a really big baby.
Yeah, and so, then it turns out then now Rachel and her wife Amber are gonna raise this demon baby,
and it's gonna be chill.
And there's gonna be people from all over the land coming to resubscribe to the cult, and they're all gonna live happily ever after
until they die, because the death cult.
But do the moms of the demon mom have to kill themselves?
No, I don't know, man. I would assume a death cult would require like everyone's commitment.
But even the people, you don't think that you get special ranking if you gave birth to the person that's leading the cult?
Well, I guess that's fair. It depends on how well bring him up.
This is all speculation because they don't say. But
there could be a sequel.
It could be
Unborn 2.
Yeah. Or no, that one would be called Born.
Jesus.
So it's a happy ending because the guy gets to go live in hell with Satan, just like he always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then this couple, Rachel and Amber, have a baby that they're able to raise as their own. And that baby gets to have
exactly what it wants.
Yeah, that baby gets a vessel from which its demon soul could live, and then it could have followers and keep doing this. So, yeah, everyone wins at the end.
It's a real Mother's Day story.
Yeah. So, Janice, do you have any final thoughts on Unborn, a Tubi original?
It spoke a lot about mother's love. Yeah.
Just say no.
Yes.
So I'm trying to be poignant.
All right, wait. Let me really think about it for a second. All right, go on.
So Janice, do you have any final thoughts on Unborn, a Tubi original?
I think the baby has a decent chance of growing up not completely demonic, considering her parents communicate quite well, so it should be cool. No. What do you want me to say?
She's got a demon soul inside of
Yeah,
her.
but you know, the mom really matters. It's possible,
You're
man.
saying that the support of a good mother will override...
Two good mothers, okay, not just the one. Two good mothers.
She's the wife of the devil.
Well...
The baby is the wife of the devil.
I mean, if you look at it this way, right? What did that baby do wrong? What did that demon do wrong? I mean, was it cool that the demon harvested the souls of a lot of the professional class? The doctor, 2 doctors, I might add, and 2 detectives.
Well, the second doctor wasn't her fault.
True.
That was just Amber being on one.
True.
But...
So, you know, and yeah. So, like, I mean, like, not only does she have one great mom, she has 2. So if anyone has a shot at not growing into a demon baby cult leader person, I guess it's this baby.
I think you're wrong.
You don't think she'll
That's
say
her whole
anything?
purpose of being born, is to be a demon baby cult leader.
Well, do you think that the love of a model mom and a makeup artist other mom can save the soul of baby?
No, it's literally the wife of the devil. What is there to be...
What has the devil done that's so wrong?
Well, I don't think he's done anything that bad.
There you go.
But...
So what's the issue?
Well, I mean, there isn't really in the context of this film. I mean, all she does is like get willing participants to kill themselves. That's really all she does when she's alive. So like the dangerous part is her not being
exactly.
alive.
So you know what?
So
maybe
if you keep the baby alive, everyone's fine.
Yeah, because it's all about consent.
Yeah.
So it's really a philosophical question about religion.
Is it? Why are you trying to be poignant right now? I don't understand.
You asked me for last thoughts. I said
do
no.
you have any last thoughts?
I said no.
You said no. I just wanted you to say no cleanly. Like I just wanted like, do you have any final thoughts? And you just go like, no. I think we covered everything. Okay, then I could close out of the episode.
We're now gonna like part 2 is the philosophy of religion.
You're trying to be
and
poignant, and I don't understand
family
why.
of origin work.
I don't understand why you're trying to make this more than it is.
Is there anything really wrong with having a death cult? That's the question. Is there anything wrong? Yes. Well, I leave that to everyone. Is there anything wrong with having a death cult?
Yes.
What?
That people kill themselves.
I mean, that's not cool, but everyone dies.
Okay, why are you done? Are you finished?
No, I
y'all
think
finished
we
or y'all
covered it all.
So that about covers it for Unborn, a Tubi original.
That's everything.
So, again, thank you guys for listening. My name's Anthony.
My name's Janice.
And this is TubiTalk. Again, if you want us to watch anything in particular, or you have any feedback, leave it in the comments section on YouTube, or you could email the show at yourtubitime@gmail.com. That is yourtubitime@gmail.com. Until next episode, we will see you guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.